Dad's dream to talk about his favorite team with the son of digging the stats. Come and join us, nerding on the Dbacks.
Welcome to take 2 of Nerding on the Dbacks. I'm Son/Phoenix.
And I'm Dad/Chris.
If this goes horribly, it's because it's the take 2.
Take 1 already went horribly. You're listening to the best
And only
father-son baseball show
in America.
They don't got this in Paraguay.
Penguin gay.
Yeah, all right. So,
That was bad.
Please, since you're here, like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening on the pods, rate, review. And, of course, channel your inner kindergartner.
And share.
Mm-hmm. So, we got a little bit of a big series coming up here, Phoenix.
Yeah.
For the Dbacks, between the Dbacks and pods. It's kind of a crazy situation. If they sweep the series, the Dbacks do, they're in the playoffs. I'm gonna try to give like the simple version. And if they win 2 out of the 3 games, and the Braves and the Mets together lose 2 games, the Dbacks are in.
Yeah.
If they only win 1 game, I believe that the the Braves and Mets need to only win 1 game in this series that's coming up as well. So whatever, like, if the D-backs sweep, they're in. If they win 2 and the other teams lose 2 combined, and then if they win 1 and the other teams lose 4 combined, the D-backs are in. So any of those combinations brings us into the playoffs. So it's going to be a wild weekend. I'm so you could use words, not just facial expression. Some people just listen. All right, should I just narrate your actions? No, he's nodding yes. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to watch tonight's game live, which is kind of frustrating. But I mean, it's for good reason. We'll come home and watch it. It's going to be on a little delay, but you've got a big football game tonight. He's saying, "Oh yeah, right. This is going to be the weirdest pod ever. How am I going to make your predictions? I don't even have." Oh yeah, if you didn't know, today's episode is a.
Did you really just say that?
That probably came across so loud.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna try to mitigate that a little bit in post. So, what is? Did you really just say that, Phoenix? Yeah, I know that started again. When I added the camera, the screen started doing it again.
Did you really just say that? Is each of us make 3 predictions each week, and they must be quantifiable, and we would decide what each prediction is worth. So we decide if they're singles, doubles, or home runs, and doubles are hits. So yeah. Yeah,
and we track our results all through the season.
Sadly.
It's really probably the greatest game in all of sports talk. Unbiased opinion. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so we start every episode of Did You Really Just Say That? With You Really Said That. Yeah. And so
You really said that.
I'm going to fire us off this week.
Oh, sadly.
And so I got 1 right, 1 wrong. And the one I got right was the D-backs are going to lose their first game in Colorado, which they did. And then they're still going to go 4-3 on their final road trip, which they did. It was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, I said that. Really? Oh, yeah.
That would be called a parlay, ladies and gentlemen. And so they actually...
And thems.
It didn't...
And helicopters.
It didn't quite...
And turtles. And basketballs. All of the unordinary. Supernaturals.
Is now ordinary. Okay. And...
The transgenders.
And the D-back fans.
No, I don't think they have their own gender. Well, I guess anything.
Okay, so they still they didn't go on this road trip the way I had kind of expected it to go when I made this prediction. I thought they'd lose the first game in Colorado, because most teams do when they play their first game in Colorado. And then they would win their second and third game in Colorado, and then they would split in Milwaukee. But what ended up happening was they lost their first 2 games in Colorado. They won the third one, and then they won the first 3 games in Milwaukee and lost the fourth one. Not quite how I saw it playing out, but the final destination was the same, so I'll take it.
Huh.
Yeah. So the one thing that I got wrong was the Dbacks are going to sweep the Giants.
You said that. Really?
I don't want to do this anymore.
Man, that was a really, really... Yeah, here's the thing. We went to that one game. That was, as far as being at a game, I had so much fun just chit-chatting with you throughout the game. You make watching baseball so much fun, even when the team is losing. You're the best D-backs co-fan.
I could be a commentator.
You are fan. You are great. You also pick out a lot of interesting things in the crowd, which is funny. It's quite a hoot going with you. A hoot nanny.
That guy's wearing a freaking Giants jersey. Does he know where he is?
Yeah. So, and that was it. But the game itself was kind of a disappointment, and the whole series. But at least they pulled out one game out of that series. It's keeping them in a position where they do still control their destiny 100%, meaning that if they win all of their games, like we discussed, they're in the playoffs. And so that part's good. It also means it's more likely that they get into the playoffs, even if they only win 2 of these games, as long as the other 2 teams drop 1 each, or one of them just drops 2. So, and the Braves, I think, are playing the Royals. And the Royals have a lot to play for. They're still in the hunt for a wild card spot. They don't got this sealed up yet. And so they're kind of in a position like the Padres are. And they got to win one. They've got to win one game. So that part at least benefits the D-backs here. So, yeah, should be a fun, great weekend
All right,
of ball.
For me,
all the way around.
I said that Lourdes Gurriel Jr., the best and only, the myth, the legend, hits a home run in his first game back. And you know what he did? Hit a home run on his first game back. Don't say did he. Don't say did he. That guy got arrested.
Yeah, you did call that, and he did hit that home run. It was pretty rad.
We were
jumping around
when that happened.
Yeah, I had to have you. I'm like, Phoenix.
I literally grabbed you by the shirt, like.
You were playing. Yeah.
I grabbed you by the shirt, and I was like, "Hey, they did it! Hey, did it! I told you! I told you, man!"
It was quite the moment. It was super fun in our household when that happened. Yeah, I was in the middle of cooking dinner, and you were outside playing with your brother at the moment.
No, that was after dinner.
Was it?
Yeah.
We had the TV still on, watching the game, and so that was super fun. And then, which one did you get wrong?
Dbacks you had a typo there. The D-backs win the series versus both Padres and Giants.
Yeah.
Did he really say that?
As we discussed, they haven't played the Padres yet, but they played the Giants and they lost it. So
let's have a moment of silence.
This was also a parlay. Oh, this was worth a home run. Both our hits were worth home runs. I needed to mention that. I didn't put that on the board this time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been busy with. For those who don't know, we've adopted a baby kitten. I think it's about 4 weeks old, 5 weeks old. We didn't really adopt it. Well, we sort of adopted it. We found it alone.
Actually, it adopted us.
We found it alone in a high school football field.
It was like a swampish area. So.
Yeah. And so it was, unfortunately, for those who are wondering, actually, Phoenix found it. I was not there. They brought it home. And, they found it. They found a kitten. They actually found 2 kittens in the field. One of them was dead already. And so,
Wow, way to just, spit it out. God. No remorse.
laying right next to the one that was still alive. Is that correct?
Yep.
And so the one that was still alive, they brought him home, and he's doing great now. It's been
And his name is Waffles.
yeah. We probably should have went with something Dbacks themed, but
No.
okay.
What are we going to name him? Lourdes?
Yeah.
True. But if we're not going to name him Baxter.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly the.
Yeah,
I'm a D-backs fan and all, but I'm also objective and possibly the worst mascot in all of Major League Baseball.
We would be bastards. You get it? It's like Baxter and the Bastards.
We'd
And
be
they're like the
Baxters?
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like Baxter
Yeah. So
and Bastards.
so anyway, that kitten is that kitten has taken up a lot of time this week, but it's been really really funny, super cute. We'll
He's sleeping
we'll throw
right
some
now.
video on here after
No, we won't.
after the pod. Yeah, at the end, I'll throw some video
we
of it
won't.
up for anybody who's
We won't.
wondering. Or
We
actually, there might be some right there. If it's not right there right now, it will be playing.
You
at
know
the
what?
end.
No, we're not going to put it in the middle. We're going to put it over your face right there. Ready?
I'm not gonna.
bippity
No,
boppity.
it's already gone. So let's get on to this week's predictions.
No, I want more
And-
waffles.
I'm gonna start us off here.
Oh, no, you won't.
Yeah, because this is gonna be a bit of a lengthy one. Sorry, but we're starting it off this way.
15 hours, everybody.
My first prediction is SuperMart
How do you write that much?
does not give up a run this weekend versus the Padres.
Yeah, you just said that.
And so SuperMart's been very good
You literally
all
only
season
have
long.
one prediction this entire time.
And what did you say?
And it's only one prediction. It's just one prediction and then a whole page, and then you have to scroll down. And then
Yep. Yeah. So SuperMart's been very good all season long. He's stumbled a little bit here in September. He's at a career high already in innings pitched, and he still have the playoffs coming. So it's not so hard to understand that he would be giving up a few runs. That said, I bring this up because there was some Fox Sports Phoenix shock jock clip that a friend sent to me, and that friend of mine is not a D-backs fan, and he was asking me if the hot take that the shock jock was throwing out there was true. And the shock jock's assertion was that Torrey and Hazen should be fired for not installing AJ Puck as the closer of the D-backs. His reasoning that the D-backs have blown ninth inning leads again and again and again and again and again in September. I think he threw that many agains out there. And I'm here to tell you that since August 7th, when SuperMart took over the closer role, care to guess how many ninth inning leads he's blown?
like 15.
Right, you would think so based on that shock jock. He's blown one ninth inning lead. One ninth inning lead. That was basically all of the games that AJ Puck pitched in. We only blew one ninth inning lead in any of those games. So AJ Puck pitching in the ninth inning would have done nothing to change the record of the D-backs. And I would actually argue that putting AJ Puck in as the closer, because this has really worked pretty well. I should also say that the dude's rant about AJ Puck being the closer came like 2 days before SuperMart even blew his save. So when he made the statement about them having blown ninth inning lead after ninth inning lead in September, they hadn't blown a single ninth inning lead yet in the month of September. Not one. It's so crazy.
I made like an analogy to that. I was like, this is like saying that Magic Johnson never passed and he ball hogged it his entire career.
Right, yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. He's obviously a blowhard who was predicating his entire rant on something that was factually untrue.
He did not do his research.
No, this is basically why I hate talk radio. And pretty much no matter what the topic of discussion is, you could take that as you want to. But most radio hosts, specifically radio hosts, this isn't the thing on podcasts. In fact, if you do this on podcasts, you're not going to get listeners. But on radio, you pretty much have to survive by stoking anger and frustration amongst your listeners. Facts be damned. It gets ratings. And so this guy gets paid to talk about the D-backs, and he's either he's literally on the radio cashing a paycheck to talk about the D-backs, and he's either ignorant of the facts or he's lying for the ratings. And I don't know which one it is. But radio listeners are the kind of people who get their information about the team from blowhards like him.
I don't know what it is. It's both.
Okay, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like they're kind of mutually exclusive, but maybe you're right.
I want that guy fired for lying to all of us.
Well, I think it's so crazy that the guy gets paid to stoke anger built on a false premise. He gets paid. I mean, it should be people like the boys at Dbacks Dispatch that are getting paid to put content out on the radio.
We don't even get paid.
Right. Or just one of them, like Brandon, Brett, Gabe. If Fox only has the budget for one of those guys to go take that spot on the air, they should do that. Or how about Millard from Locked On D-Backs? He would do a much better job.
Yeah, I would do a much better job.
Jesse from PHNX, he already gets paid, but I bet Fox would pay him more than he gets at PHNX, and he would do a much better job. Any of those gents. It's just crazy that this is the guy that gets it.
I'll take the job.
I don't think you can, actually.
I'll take the job.
I think there's child labor laws that would prevent you from being able to
So what?
do that
I'll
job.
put some makeup on.
But yeah, it makes me sad. I bring this up because it makes me sad, the state of sports radio. And I'm glad we have podcasts. We have alternatives to this junk that gets put on stations like that. But it's just frustrating that that's even out there in the first place.
If they had a kid on the radio show, their ratings would sky. You know how much their ratings would go up? They would go up like Lotus's bomb to the upper decks. Like 500 feet.
How far?
500.
500. Yeah, I know there have been some home runs that have been hit 500 feet in history, but I wonder how many.
Like 7.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. It's an interesting question. We could look that up after.
No, we're not.
And so I think if people who are doing people who are doing pods like us and all those other awesome podcasters that I mentioned were on the radio instead, I think you'd have such a better informed fan base about what was going on with the team and the players and the way the season's going. But we don't. And so SuperMart is not going to give up any runs this series just to defy that blowhard from Fox Radio. Because I'm sure Martinez cares about what Sub Shock Jock says about him.
Hey, suck it, blowhard.
All right. What's your first prediction, Phoenix?
Okay.
Wait, now that I just said that.
Did you really just say that?
Mm-hmm. That was a long rant.
Okay. So, the Padres have been last in the league in their division. They're not winning at all. They're like 0 for 86. Now, for the real facts, they're at the top, and I'm going to say that the D-backs sweep the Padres.
Woo!
Mic drop.
just like bat it out of the way.
You poor listeners. My mic!
Is it still on? We should probably make sure that. Yeah, it is. Okay.
You bastard!
All right. So
Maybe you're the
that's definitely a home run.
Hard.
And like we said, if the D-backs can pull that off,
Get off of my show.
there is an outside chance the Padres don't make the playoffs if they get swept by the D-backs this weekend. And that said, all it takes, like the Padres can wrap up tonight, even if the D-backs beat the Padres tonight. If one of the Braves or the Mets loses, the Padres clinch. So they could have they could lose tonight's game in Arizona and still celebrate of making the playoffs. That's how that could go.
You know what's even crazier than that? A hurricane going through.
Yeah, I know.
Going through over
The
there.
crazy what's kind of nuts is I saw a picture. I don't know if this is true. I haven't researched this at all, but I saw a post on
Oh, now you're the guy from Vox
on
Sports.
X.com. Well, that's why I'm prefacing it with I don't know this, but someone on X said that there was no rain at the stadium. Even though the hurricane came through, no rain actually hit the stadium that they were supposed to be playing in. Not that that makes much of a difference. Like, Helene was an absolute nightmare, and my hearts and condolences go out to everybody who had to deal with that and anyone who lost somebody, because it was a gnarly one. It's really sad. And so I hope everyone out there on the East Coast, or anyone who's listening to this and has family on the East Coast, everyone's safe and sound. But yeah, just kind of nuts. Well, if we're going to bring up the hurricane, we got to address...
You made this really sad.
Did you really just say that?
I don't want to talk about the D-backs anymore.
Oh, okay. So let's go for a sweep here. We got two good pitchers on the mound. We got Merrill Kelly.
I'm sorry for the people in Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
I'm sorry for the people in Twister.
I don't know if there's anyone left. Okay, let's continue on with the show here.
No, you bring up the hurricane. Now we got to talk about all the tragedies
Wait,
in our.
hey, what is your team name for your school sports?
The Hurricanes.
All right. Discussion settled. So, my second prediction.
We don't even have a mascot.
My second prediction is that Ryan Nelson pitches either 5 innings with 2 runs or less, or he gets a quality start in his first game back from injury,
I hate this pod.
securing his spot as the 3rd starting pitcher in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so he's pitching game 2 of this series, or he is expected to pitch game 2. He hasn't been announced as the game 2 pitcher as of this recording. It may have happened already by the time you listen to this. But
Look, it's right there. You see that?
no, that's not it. But he's probably pitching game 2. I would be very surprised if he doesn't. And part of the reason is that then sets up the D-backs for the playoffs in the first round to go Gallen game 1, Kelly game 2, and then Nelson game 3. It'll line up perfectly for those 3 guys to pitch the first 3 games. And Nelson's been nails so far, for the last half of the season or so. For the last 4 months, he's been the best pitcher on the D-backs. And as long as he...
And the offense is the hammer.
That's right. And if he comes back and he is truly healthy and he doesn't skip a beat, there's no reason that he shouldn't be the 3rd starter, especially with the months that Erod and Fott have had. They've looked really shaky in September. The D-backs need Nelson to be healthy and throw well again if they're really going to make a run in the playoffs. Like I said, Erod and Fott have looked shaky. Without Nelson, both those guys would have been starting the Saturday and Sunday games, respectively. And that's not ideal when trying to clinch a playoff spot. Those 2 guys, outside of just that, Fott has like a 7.5 ERA for the month of September, something like that, 7 ERA. Even with that one, with the best game pitched by any D-back this season in September, every other start has been so bad his ERA is up over 6. And so he's basically been Jordan Montgomery bad. In the month of September.
No.
I know.
No.
And so...
Oh, I will.
And it would be so much worse if he hadn't even pitched that great game. So now, instead, if they still need a win on Sunday, they can piggyback Erod and Fott off of each other, have them each throw 3 innings, and then move on to the next guy. And hopefully, though, they've got it locked up by Sunday, and they don't need to worry about it. So that's my second prediction. What about you, Phoenix? Where are you heading next?
Now, I've said this a lot, and many times on this show, we could probably make a montage of me saying this, but this wouldn't be a D-back. I messed it up. Take 2. I've said this a lot on this show. And
Just skip to the end.
And this wouldn't be a Nerdin' on the D-backs pod without a Lotus prediction. So,
Go LGJ.
LGJ Jr. hits a walk-off. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hits a walk-off home run in one of their games against the Padres.
Woo!
Yeah, you just said that.
Yeah, LGJ. Bring it. Bring it. Yeah, that's...
LGJ Jr.
if you hear squeaking, that's our new kitten.
Waffles.
Yep. So he's wandering around in the studio here with us.
What studio? This is your office.
Yeah, it's kind of studio-like, though.
Is it?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I haven't been in a
there's-
radio studio before.
There's windows.
Yeah, but I have been in a lot of recording studios for music, and this is kind of like that.
Oh, look at that.
Yep.
Yep, they'd have that in a studio.
All right.
So, what's your
So my-
final, last, and most of all horrible prediction?
Boo. What did I do? What did I do with this? Okay.
Stop the uhs.
Oh, okay. So, Eugenio Suarez will have the highest OPS in the series of any Dbacks player with 10 or more plate appearances. He's been the third best hitter in the National League since July 1.
You know who's the first? LGJ. Lourdes Gurriel. Jr.
Third best hitter by OPS, I guess I should clarify. Mm-hmm. Which I want to say number 1 is actually Ketel Marte. And then number 2, I believe, is Shohei Ohtani.
No.
And then number 3 is Eugenio Suarez. I think that's the order.
Suck it, Shohei.
He doesn't really his September has been really fantastic. He's been awesome. He's got a 1. OPS. I think it's a 1.033 OPS for the month of September. And I still don't understand how Torrey can't bring himself to move Suarez up in the lineup, but that's a different discussion. It's weird having the third.
They must have had an argument.
It's weird having the third best offensive player in the league for the last 3 months in your lineup, and you just can't find a way to get him higher than 7th in the lineup. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. Could you imagine, like, if
They must have had an argument about the kids.
think about, like, all of a sudden, like, Shohei shows up at the yard and Dave Roberts has him batting 6th in the lineup. It'd be like, what I do, Skip? Shouldn't I be? I mean, I would think actually all the players on the team would be like, hey, we got to move him up higher in the lineup, Skip. I don't think this is good. Like, why would you, like, I just don't get it. It's so weird.
No shame on Christian Walker, but I'd rather put Eugenio up there than Christian.
Yeah, I mean,
Christian Walker is a great player, but after he came back from his injury, his hitting has not been as good. Well, his hitting is not as good as Eugenio Suarez.
No. Christian Walker is pretty close to league average since he's returned from the injured list, whereas Suarez, has been over that time one of the 10 best hitters in baseball, the second or third best hitter on the team, because the D-backs have a lot of really good hitters.
Name one.
Ketel Marte.
Name two.
Pavin Smith.
Name
three. I went there, everybody.
No, I did not. Name 3.
Jock Peterson.
Name 4.
I mean, Corbin Carroll's been pretty good in September.
Name 5.
I pretty much ran out of all the guys that I would be batting ahead of Suarez then. Yes, as we've discussed.
What about Lourdes?
If we were making up the lineup, Suarez would be batting 4th, and everybody else would basically just move down 1. And I actually wouldn't have Jake McCarthy in my lineup. I would be putting Carroll in center right now. For those who don't know, Jake McCarthy has been just absolute hot garbage in the month of September. And I mean that respectfully, in that Jake McCarthy is one of the reasons that the D-backs are in the position that they are in, able to play for a playoff spot in the final weekend of the season. But that doesn't mean that he's got an OPS that like would make a catcher be embarrassed by, and he's still just he's still batting ahead of Eugenio. I don't get it. The Hugger Slugger deserves respect.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Hugger Slugger for the win.
Yes, you got to punch the camera when you do it.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can't
true.
you can't go off to the side. Hugger Slugger for the win.
We should just cut it right there.
Hugger. It's more like Hugger Slugger for the win. All right, go ahead. What's your third?
All right. So, Merrill Kelly, he's a great guy. Donated to charity. Waffles, you're not looking good for us here.
Just go.
Okay, so Merrill Kelly, I said he will have over 6 strikeouts, or if you want to be, or 7 or more.
7 or more strikeouts.
Yes,
In tonight's game.
and he will have 7 or more strikeouts in tonight's game.
Boom! I love it.
Yeah,
That's an awesome prediction. Kelly has been on a roll. He
I know
actually
he can do it.
He both Kelly and Gallon have ERAs under 3. I think under 2.5 for the month of September. So they've been fantastic. I absolutely am digging what those two guys are bringing to the table. That's why I say, even though the starting pitching has been pretty bad and the bullpen has been pretty bad, just leave them.
He's not leaving me.
When you get to just the 4 guys at the end of the bullpen and our 3 main starters in Gallon, Kelly, and a healthy Ryan Nelson, you've got really good pitchers to pitch the innings that matter in the playoffs. So just got to get there, boys. Let's make this happen, and then anything is possible, like Kevin Garnett said.
Anything is possible.
That's right. You just said that.
All right. So with that, please watch the Dbacks. And of course, before you do that, though, and leave this awesome episode of Did You Really Just Say That? Like, comment, subscribe. If you're on the pod, rate, review. And of course, channel your inner kindergartner.
And share.
Yes.
Share right now. Do it right now.
Yes. Especially for the playoffs. You got any friends that are D-backs fans that just want extra D-backs content as we approach the playoffs here and go through the playoffs? Send them this. They're going to love it.
Or have anybody who thinks we're cringe and wants to make fun of us, send that to them too. But
We promise no shock, jock, blowhard takes. All right, maybe not this guy.
yeah. Yeah. This guy.
All right. And with that,
Take it away, Waffles.
we're going to do Limerick first.
No, we're going to do Waffles.
No. Then Waffles is coming up after.
Waffles.
Take it away, Limerick.
Waffles.
Dbacks! Woo!